Hey everyone, coming to make a quick video for you to show you how to shield your guitar to prevent any electrical interference and also keep the hum at a minimum. This is a cheap Ibanez Geo guitar. It's probably about 25 years old, and it had a lot of noise when I first plugged it up. But I was able to rectify that. I tested it out a little earlier, and I was able to get rid of a lot of that noise. Pretty much the noise, because these aren't humbucking pickups, you're going to have some, they call it 60 cycle noise. So pretty much any of the electrical interference in the area, whether that be this light here or my amp there, even the hum of the motor from the TV. I had a laptop here earlier. All that, you can get that electrical interference from it, and it'll come out through the pickup because it pretty much amplifies that. Your tone knob, when you turn the tone knob down, you might not hear it, but that's because the tone knob will cut out the high frequencies and make that less. So in order to do that, pretty much you need some of this copper shielding tape. You'll need something to do a little bit of wire stripping, also some wire if you have it, some spare wire. I like this one. It has two copper strand wires in one, so you can split this in half if you have multiple pickups. But the process is fairly easy, a little tedious, but easy. What you want to do is essentially make a cage around these pickups of this copper this copper shielding tape. You want to make a cage around that and a cage around your electronics to keep any, electrical interference from getting anywhere pretty much but here. I mean, you won't be able to avoid this because you can't put a cage around it or you won't have any noise. So pretty much what you want to do is, if you have a pick guard, I like to cover that pick guard with the shielding tape. I like to cover the insides of these cavities with the shielding tape. Since my pick guard doesn't extend down here to this jazz pickup, I just did the inside of it, so you might be able to see a little gold there. I did it on the inside. I did it on the inside of this one, but this one I was able to overlap it around here. And the reason why I did that is so that you can basically extend this cage to all this here up front, because the cage on the back of this pickup, or the copper shielding tape on the back of this pickup, is touching the outside of the shielding tape that's inside the cavity. So once you get all that shielded, you also will shield. You also want to shield the inside of your cavity. So what I did, I got all around here, got all inside there. You can put down multiple pieces, but what you want to do is make sure they're all connected. So try not to make sure there's no breaks. Like I got a little break in there, but that's the hole. You can't avoid that. But try to make sure there's no breaks along the corners. If you have an eraser, that is helpful to get in those corners versus you using your fingers, because sometimes you'll tear that tape up. But you want to make sure you get it nice and flat, get it stuck to the cavity, but at the same time not damaging it. I even did the back of the pick guard cover, so when this touches this, it makes another circuit in another part of the cage. So once you get it all done, all taped up, everything's satisfied, then you ground it. So what I did is I split this hat in two, a long enough piece. I split it in two. I took the shielding off, so it's bare wire, and I ran one of these copper pieces in one pickup cavity and one in the other pickup cavity. And then you can do it two ways. You can, since copper is, you can solder copper, you can take the solder here, put some solder on here a little bit, and you can solder that to the actual shielding tape that's in the pickup cavity. Or like I did, you can just take some more tape, lay out that wire, maybe even fray it a little bit, lay that wire down, and then stick a piece of tape on there. It's good to you have more security with soldering, because then you don't have to worry about the tape coming off if you like pull too hard on this. But it works just fine to do that as well, to just put some tape down. So when I did that, I run that tape, and I'll show you where it is. So this wire here, this white wire, that is coming from my P-base pickup. And then that other white wire, that other white wire there is coming from the jazz bass pickup. And then it's connected, if you can see it, it's connected down there, and it goes, let's see if I can move this aside. Yeah, you see those lumps at the bottom? Right in the middle, kind of below those yellow wires, there's 2 lumps in the floor of the cavity. That is exposed ground wire. So it pretty much can run. And if you don't have this 2-in-1 piece of copper wire, you can just run 2 wires. But this makes it a lot less cluttered, and it's together. So you run it from your cavities to here, and then you shield it to this cavity as well. And then pretty much, because my pots are grounded, because my pots are touching the bottom, of this cavity here with the tape on it, and the pots are grounded, it's pretty much using that ground as well to ground out this cavity and the cavities and the pickup cavities as well. And because that's my bridge ground right there, it's going there underneath the bridge. So that's a big reason why when you have noise, if you touch the strings or a knob or something like that, it kind of it uses your body as the ground. But now it's using the same ground as for the guitar. It's using it for that. If you have any questions, drop a link in the drop a note in the comments. I'd like to help you out. Hopefully I explained the reason why and how. For the most part, it went pretty good. I also took that opportunity to get a new wiring harness, because the one in there was, very shoddily soldered and probably very old. So I got some new tune pots in there, and put those in there while I was at it. But as far as how long it might take, an hour, maybe a little less, depending on how good you are and how much of a job that you have. Some of the things you don't necessarily need to do. You don't necessarily need to cover that pick guard. Guard. You don't need to cover your pick guard necessarily. But the more shielding you can have, I say the better. As long as everything's not touching anything that will short it out or anything like that, I think you're good to go. That's another tip while I'm at it. Make sure that your connections for your actual pots are not touching this, because it'll ground it out. So make sure when you're putting stuff back in there that it's not touching the side walls or anything like that. The connections, at least, not the shielded wire, but the connections. So that way you don't have any more issues with grounding. But hope you like this video, and I'll see you on the next one.